I died choking on my own vomit in a dingy motel room off I-95, the taste of cheap bourbon and betrayal burning my throat like acid rain. 15 years of marriage. And Mark had scripted my end as just another tragic accident for the insurance payout. But as the darkness swallowed me whole, a glitch in the universe spat me back out, not to some ethereal limbo, but into the mirror of my 25-year-old self, staring wide-eyed at the bathroom sink in our first shitty apartment in Jersey City, the date on my phone screaming 2005 like a slap from fate. My hands, younger, unscarred by the endless dishwashing and diaper changes, gripped the porcelain until my knuckles bleached white. "Holy shit," I whispered, the words echoing off the peeling wallpaper. Mark was in the living room, humming some Springsteen tune, oblivious that his future killer wife had just crash-landed in her past body. Revenge wasn't a fantasy anymore, it was a loaded gun. And I had all the bullets. That night, as we lay tangled in sheets that still smelled like fresh paint and possibility, I traced the line of his jaw with fingers that remembered how he'd smash a bottle over my dreams. He murmured something sweet about our future, kids, a house in the suburbs, the American dream wrapped in a white picket fence. I smiled, teeth gritted behind lips swollen from suppressed rage. "Yeah, baby," I said, voice honeyed poison. "It's all gonna be perfect." But perfection was a lie we'd both bought into. Back when I was Rose Harlan, fresh out of community college with a graphic design degree and stars in my eyes. Mark was the charming salesman from the car lot, all dimples and dad jokes, sweeping me off my feet with promises of stability in a world that chewed up dreamers like me. We married in a backyard ceremony under Jersey pines, barefoot and broke, toasting with Boone's farm wine. 15 years later, he'd trade me for Kendra, his perky in turn with daddy's money and a laugh like wind chimes, leaving me penniless and popping Xanax like candy until that final, fatal bender. Now, reborn, I had the map to every minefield. The first bomb? His promotion at the dealership 6 months from now. The one he'd leveraged to start skimming cash for Kendra's trust fund. I rolled over, pressing my body against his, and whispered, "What if we start saving for a house sooner? Like, really aggressive." He chuckled, pulling me closer. "You're my little planner, aren't you?" If only he knew I was the architect of his downfall. The next morning, I called in sick to my freelance gig, some logo for a local bakery, and spent the day rifling through his sock drawer like a ghost on a mission. There it was, tucked in the toe of an old gym sock, the burner phone he bought last time around, still in its plastic wrap. Heart pounding, I smashed it against the toilet rim, shards scattering like brittle trust. No evidence, no temptation. Step 1. Neuter the snake before it sheds its skin. By week 2, I was auditing our joint accounts with the ferocity of a Wall Street shark. Mark came home to find me at the kitchen table, spreadsheets glowing on my laptop, red ink circling discrepancies I'd invented as premonitions. "Babe, what's this?" he asked, loosening his tie. I looked up, eyes innocent as a lamb's. "Just making sure we're building that nest egg. Can't have surprises derailing us." He bought it, kissing my forehead, but I saw the flicker, the same one that would bloom into guilt years later. I started small, planting seeds of doubt. At dinner, I dropped casual bombs. Heard about that salesman at the Ford lot, caught dipping into petty cash. Crazy, right? Mark's fork paused midair, fork tines glinting like accusations. "Yeah, well, not everyone's honest." I smiled, sipping my wine. But you are. That's why I love you. Lies layered like lasagna, each one heavier than the last. Summer hit like a freight train, humidity thick as regret. We drove down to the shore for a weekend getaway. Windows down. Bruce on the stereo wailing about glory days. At the boardwalk, cotton candy in hand, I spotted her, Kendra, all of 16, braces glinting as she giggled with friends. In my old life, this was the seed, Mark volunteering as chaperone for the dealership's youth program, mentoring her into his bed by 21.
Now.
I steered him away, feigning a sudden migraine. Let's skip the carnival. Hit the beach instead. He grumbled but complied. Sand between our toes under a blood-orange sunset. That night, in the motel room that mirrored my death chamber, same faded quilts, same hum of AC, I faked ecstasy, nails raking his back as I whispered futures we'd never have. But inside, I cataloged his weaknesses, the gambling itch he'd scratch in Atlantic City, the whiskey that loosened his tongue, the ego that demanded worship. Revenge wasn't brute force, it was erosion, slow and inexorable as the tide claiming the dunes. Fall brought the first real test. Mark's boss called, a fat cat named Harlan. No relation, with a comb-over and a handshake like a vice. Promotion on the horizon, but whispers of audits. In my past life, Mark celebrated by boozing with the boys, letting Kendra console him via late-night texts. This time, I intercepted. We're celebrating clean, I declared, booking a couple's spa day. He resisted, but my tears, weaponized vulnerability, sealed it. I just want a solid
Mark.
For the family we'll build. As leaves turned crimson, so did my plans. I enrolled in night classes at Rutgers, graphic design sharpening into something lethal, forensic accounting on the side, cybersecurity basics. Friends raised eyebrows. Rose, you're turning into a machine, but I laughed it off. Gotta keep up with the Joneses. Truth was, I was arming myself against the monster I'd married. Thanksgiving loomed. Turkey-scented nostalgia masking the rot. Mark's family gathered in their McMansion outside Philly. Ants clucking over my glow. I played the part. Doting fiancé, wait. Wife now. Ring heavy on my finger, refilling glasses. Laughing at Uncle Joe's jokes. But under the table, my foot press marks. A silent vow, you're mine to break. That night, as snow dusted the windshield on our drive home, he confessed a half-truth. Work's stressing me. Boss thinks I'm cooking books. My heart skipped, not surprise, but timing. Tell me everything, I urged, hand on his thigh. He spilled, small loans from the till. Just till payday. I nodded, sympathetic. We'll fix it together. Pawn my engagement ring if we have to. His relief was palpable. A crack in the facade. By Christmas, the web tightened. I'd funneled our savings into a trust, irrevocable. My name only, framed as baby fund prep. Mark signed without reading. Eyes on the eggnog. Kendra's family moved to town. I accidentally bumped into her mom at the mall. Dropping hints. Heard your girl's interning at the dealership? Smart cookie. Hope she watches her back around those sales wolves. Poison in pleasantries. New Year's Eve. Fireworks bursting over the Hudson. We kissed at midnight. To us, he toasted. To ashes, I echoed in my mind. The clock struck rebirth. And I knew 2006 would be the year I buried him alive in his own lies. January thawed into a slushy mess. mirroring the thaw in our marriage, or what passed for it. Mark landed the promotion. Fat bonus check burning a hole in his pocket. We're moving up. Rosie, he crowed, sweeping me into a waltz across the linoleum. I spun with him, dress flaring. But my mind cartwheeled through timelines. This money, in the old script, seeded Kendra's condo down payment. I suggested investments, index funds, boring as beige but ironclad. No risks.
Mark.
We're playing the long game. He agreed, too buzzed on victory to notice the leash tightening. Behind his back, I hired a PI. Cash under the table. Tail the boss. Sniff for dirt. Harlan was a pig. Affairs. Bribes. But nothing tied to Mark yet. Patience. I reminded myself. Rome burned slow. Spring bloomed with cherry blossoms, and my first pregnancy scare, deliberate. A test balloon. What if? I asked over brunch. Mimosa untouched. Mark's face lit like Times Square. A kid? Hell yeah. We tried harder, but I was on the pill. Shadows of miscarriages passed haunting me. No heirs for his empire. That throne stayed empty. Kendra interned that summer. All wide-eyed ambition in pencil skirts too tight for the AC-chilled showroom. I volunteered at the office. PDA mom in training, bringing donuts laced with gossip. Heard the new girls got her eye on that corner office. I'd murmur to the secretaries, who tittered like hens. Mark shot me a look. Jealous much? I batted lashes. Just protecting our future. Hun. The first fracture came in July. Heat wave sticky as sin. Mark hit AC for weekend. Boys trip to the casinos. In the old life. That's where he met Kendra's dad, high roller. Sealed the affair with a handshake and a side eye. This time, I packed his bag. No cash beyond $50. Phone GPS shared. Miss you already, I texted as he crossed the bridge. He lost his shirt at blackjack. Called me sobbing. Babe, I need. Use the emergency card, I said. Voice steel and silk. But pay it back double.
He did.
Grumbling. But the hook sank deeper. Kendra's dad? Never crossed paths. Fate rerouted like a detour sign. Fall classes ramped up. I aced cyber forensics. Hacking dummy accounts for practice. Mark noticed the late nights. You're changing?
Rose. It's hot.
I straddled him on the couch, riding the wave of his desire while plotting the undertow. Good. Means I'm growing into your gravedigger, I thought. Thanksgiving redux, Philly suburbs. Tension thick as gravy. Uncle Joe cornered me in the den. Mark's always been a wild one. You taming him? I sipped sherry, eyes on the fire. Or breaking him? Depends on the day. He laughed. Thinking joke. I didn't. December brought the holiday party. Dealership decked in tinsel and temptation. Kendra flirted shamelessly, hand on Mark's arm as she thanked him for mentorship. I watched from the punch bowl, smile fixed, then sauntered over. Kendra, right? Rose Harlan, Mark's better half. My grip crushed hers. Subtle. She winced, simpering.
Oh.
Mrs. Harlan, your husband's been so helpful. Has he? I purred, arm looping Mark's waist like barbed wire. Stick around, I'll show you helpful. The night ended with us in the coat room. My mouth on his zipper, reclaiming territory. But seeds sprouted. She texted him later. Innocent congrats emoji. I saw it first, deleted it, Added a virus to his phone that mirrored every ping to mine. New Year's dawned crisp. Resolutions whispered in the dark. Mark vowed fidelity. I vowed fire. 2007 loomed, the year of the affair's genesis. But I was the phoenix now, wings charred but unyielding. The PI delivered in February, Harlan's ledger. Off-books deals with suppliers. Bribes for kickbacks. Enough to tank the lot. I anonymized a tip to the feds, burner email. VPN masked, framing it as whistleblower gold. Mark got wind via watercooler panic. They're auditing us. Rose. If they dig. His eyes pleaded. I held him as he shook, rocking like a child. We'll weather it. Together. But I whispered addendums. Confess the petty stuff. Clean slate. He did. Partial truth. Demoted but not fired. Kendra? Transferred to accounting. Out of sight. For the best, I cooed. Spring rains washed away illusions. I discovered his old debts, fabricated statements from the casino trip. How could you hide this? Tears real as rain. He begged forgiveness, promising amends. I forgave. Publicly, privately. I froze assets. Retitled the car in my name only. Summer scorched. Barbecues and beach days masking the Inferno building. Kendra quit. Citing toxic environment. My whispers at work paying dividends. Mark mourned the loss of a protege. I toasted inwardly. Our sex life reignited. Frantic and fierce. But I dosed his drinks with just enough melatonin to fog his recall. Confession slipped. I feel trapped sometimes. I'd soothe. Then probe. By what? Me? By fall. The audit cleared. Harlan scapegoated. Dealership sold to a chain. Mark's job intact. But salary slashed. We're okay, I insisted, dipping into my trust for mortgage on a modest colonial in Edison. Building equity. He nodded. Weary. I smiled. Victorious. Thanksgiving, smaller table. His family eyeing the strain. You two all right? Aunt Marge probed. Mark forced a grin. I beamed. Never better. December's party was subdued. No Kendra sparkle. As snow fell, Mark pulled me aside. I love you.
Rose.
More every day.
Lies.
But mine now. 2008 beckoned. Economic crash on horizon. My old life's accelerator to ruin. I accelerated first. PI dug deeper. Mark's college buddy. Tommy. The real embezzler Harlan covered for. I leaked it. Tommy flipped. Naming names. Mark questioned. Innocent. Swear to me, I demanded. Eyes boring. I do, he lied. New Year's. Champagne popped. But mine was flat. The web ensnared. Time to pull threads. 2008 crashed like a drunk driver. Economy skidding into the ditch. Dealerships shuttered nationwide. Ours clung by frayed threads. Mark pounded pavement. Sales calls met with slammed phones. It's hell out there, he'd vent, collapsing on the couch. I'd massage his shoulders, thumbs digging into knots like buried grudges. We'll pivot. You're smarter than this slump. I pivoted us first, launched a freelance consultancy from home. Logos for startups scraping by. Cash flowed steady. My name on invoices. Rose Enterprises, I branded it. A phoenix from his ashes. He eyed the checks enviously. You're killing it,
Babe.
killing you. I amended silently. Spring unearthed the first body. IRS audit on our returns. Mark's old petty cash fiddles. Unearthed like zombies. How? He panicked.
Sweat beading.
I feigned shock. Then calm. We fight it. Get a shark lawyer. The shark? My pick, ruthless Rita. Divorce specialist moonlighting tax. She shredded their case. But billed us dry. Trust intact. His pride pulverized. Kendra resurfaced in May. LinkedIn profile popping. Junior exec at a rival lot in Newark. Look who climbed. Mark mused over coffee. I scrolled, noting the glow-up photo, diamonds winking.
His doing?
No, her daddy's. But jealousy flickered in his eyes. A spark-eyed fan.
She's got balls.
Wish you had her fire. He bristled. What's that mean? Nothing.
Just.
Fight harder. Summer sizzled with foreclosures on the news. Neighbors packed U-Hauls. Dreams defaulted. Our colonial held. My gigs buffering. Mark took a side hustle, bartending at a dive-off Route 1. Nights slinging shots to sad sacks. I joined once. Perched at the end, watching him charm tips from lonely housewives. Flirt back. I teased later. We need the dough.
He did.
Lines blurring. Fall brought flu season and fevers of doubt. I fell ill, bettered in drama, forcing him to nurse. Confessions bubbled. I kissed a girl at the bar. Stupid. My heart iced, but face softened. Once, he nodded. Forgive. I did. With conditions, therapy sessions.
Joint.
The shrink, my plant. Feeding me transcripts. Thanksgiving, sparse. Turkey thawed in microwave. His folks skipped, citing hard times. We ate in silence. Then I broke it. Adopt a dog? Fill the quiet. Max the mutt arrived December. Slobbering distraction. Mark bonded hard. Walks becoming escapes. I tracked via AirTag and collar. Bar stops logged. 2009 Dawn Dyer. Obama hope clashing bailout blues. Mark's bar gig dried. He begged back to sales. Demoted further. I'm a failure, he sobbed one night. I held him, whispering, rebuild. With me. But I rebuilt alone, networked at Chambers. Inked deals with printers. Rose the Rainmaker, colleagues dubbed. Kendra's wedding announcement hit in April. To a banker bro. Society pages gloss. Mark stared at the clipping I'd found. She moved on quick. Venom in his voice. I probed. Regrets? He denied.
But I lied.
I escalated. Anonymous email to her hubby. Ask about your bride's mentor.
Petty.
But it stung. Divorce rumors swirled by June. Summer storm. Mark's gambling relapse. ATM withdrawals I'd monitored. Confrontation in the garage. Rain lashing windows. It's stress, he yelled. I slapped him, first time. Handprint blooming. Stress? Try betrayal. He recoiled.
Shocked.
Who are you? The new me? I thought. We reconciled in therapy. Vows renewed. Fall harvest. My business bloomed. Home office commandeered. Mark sulked. Job hunting futile. Let me help, he offered. No, I snapped. Focus on you. He spiraled. Whiskey bottles hidden in the shed. Max howled at nights he didn't come home. Thanksgiving solo. I cooked for one. Dog at feet. Mark texted from a motel. Need space. I replied, take it. But the house is mine. Lawyer on speed dial. December depression. He crawled back. Broken. I love you. I let him in. But locks changed figuratively. Then literally. PI confirmed. No Kendra contact. Just bar hookups. Controllable chaos. 2010 ticked over. Recession receding. My firm thrived. His resumes rejected. Hire me, he pleaded. Controversial call. I did. As junior assistant.
Prove yourself, I said.
He slaved. Fetching coffee. Eyes downcast. Power shift seismic. Spring thaw. Therapy unearthed his mommy issues, abandonment. Affairs as armor. You're safe, I soothed, while plotting. Kendra's marriage imploded, my email poison potent. She DM'd Mark, miss our talks. I saw, replied as him, blocked. Married. Summer heat, office party. My domain. Mark played lackey. Kendra crashed desperate, disheveled. Rose, she slurred. Champagne breath. He was mine first. I laughed.
Low.
Dream on, darling. He's collateral now. Security escorted her. Mark watched.
Pale.
Fall winds. IRS cleared. But skeletons rattled. Tommy testified in a side case. Mark's name whispered. They'll come for me, he fretted. Let them, I said. Truth sets free. Or imprisons. Thanksgiving. Full table. My success inviting his kin. Toasts to resilience. Underneath. My knife sharpened. December deadlines. Year-end audits. My books pristine. Marks? Fudged hours.
Caught.
Fired, he gasped. Reassigned. Home. Demotion to house husband. Cooking.
Cleaning.
For us, I framed. He nodded. Defeated. New Year's. Fireworks mocked our fracture. Happy, he asked.
Ecstatic. Elite.
2011. Endgame year. 2011 unfolded like a house of cards in a hurricane, beautifully, inevitably, collapsing. My firm expanded to a loft in Newark. Staff of 5. Me at the helm in power suits and heels that clicked like countdowns. Mark, shadow in the kitchen. Apron strings tied to my apron-clad revenge. You're glowing, friends noted at brunches. Divorce looks good on some, I'd quip. Winking. They laughed, he didn't. Spring unearthed the bomb. Prenatal test positive, mine. Fabricated via clinic slight. Mark stammered. Joy warring with terror. Ours. I confirmed. Hand on belly that stayed flat. The pregnancy bought time. Chained him tighter. Doctor visits scripted. Ultrasounds edited. Tech for my courses. Kendra circled back in May. Emails pleading. Help me. Mark. He left me broke. I drafted replies. Deserved. Stay away. He signed without seeing. Trust eroded to dust. Her desperation peaked, stalking the old dealership. Arrested for trespass. News clip. Jilted in turn unhinged. Mark blanched. My fault. Ours, I echoed. Summer scorched secrets. Therapy finale. Mark confessed the lot. The near affair with Kendra. Year 1. I stopped it. Liar. In old life. He hadn't. I broke down, sobbing catharsis. How could you? Forgiveness? Conditional. Full financial transparency. He agreed. Accounts merged, mind controlling. Fall frenzy. Economy rebounding. My contracts cascading. Mark's job. Errands. Dog walks. Isolation festering. I feel invisible, he admitted over dinner. Good, I nearly said. Instead, earn visibility. Controversial decree. He volunteer at shelters. Give back. Exposure therapy for his selfishness. Thanksgiving tableau. Extended family. My triumphs toasted. His silence deafening. Aunt Marge pulled me aside. He's fading. Rose. Or clarifying, I replied. Post-feast. I dropped the bomb. Miscarriage. Ultrasound complication. Tears, genuine grief for the life unlived. He held me, shattered. Our fault. Fates. December deluge. Holiday lights twinkled on my ascent. His descent. PI final report. Clean. No skeletons left. But I planted one, forged emails. Mark to Kendra. Explicit. Timed for Christmas Eve drop to his phone. Anonymous forward to my inbox. New Year's 2012. Party at the loft. Champagne flutes clinking. Mark cornered me in the storeroom. I can't do this. I want out. Heart raced, climax cue. Out? After everything? Voice breaking art. He pulled the emails. This me?
No.
Hackers. Denial crumbling. January frost, I filed. No fault divorce. But my ace, the emails. Proof of infidelity. Lawyer Rita gleamed. We'll gut him. Assets? Mine, trust predated. Business, separate. Alimony? Laughable, his earnings nil. Spring court dates dragged. Mark's face gaunt. Lawyer green. Prenup would have saved me, he muttered. We had none, I reminded. Your choice. Kendra testified, subpoenaed, swearing innocence. But my cross. Text deleted? Convenient. Jury swayed. Summer swelter. Settlement talks heated. Mark begged. Rose.
Please.
15 years. Exactly, I countered. 15 years stolen. Controversial play. I offered mercy. Half the house. If he confessed on record. All the lies. The schemes. The near betrayals.
He did.
Voice cracking. Court stenographer etching his ruin. Fall verdict. Divorce granted. Me with everything, house. Savings. Firm untouched. Him, penniless. Reputation tarred. He stared at papers. Pale as the marble countertop where we'd signed our marriage license. You planned this, he whispered. Realization dawning. Twist, not rage.
But ah.
Who are you? The gavel fell like thunder. Judge's eyes sympathetic on me. MS. Harlan. You walk away whole. I did. Heels echoing out the courthouse doors. Jersey skyline sharp against blue. But the real twist? As I drove home, my home, Max waiting, I felt the hollowness. Revenge sated. But the girl who died in that motel? Still choked on echoes. Mark? Rebuilt elsewhere. Therapy and time. Last I heard, married a quiet teacher. Kids genuine.
Me?
Rose Harlan Inc. Boomed. Boardrooms my battlefield. But nights? Empty. Bourbon untouched. Fate's glitch? Or mercies? I never knew. But in mirrors now, I saw her, not victim, not villain, but survivor. Scarred and soaring. The American dream. Reborn bloody-knuckled.